Okay, hello, and welcome to the first episode of Drunk History. I'm your host, Destiny.
This is... messed up.
What do you mean?
You said drunk history.
Oh. White Claw Chaser.
Do I have to cut so much of this out?
That's fine. Thanks. Cheers, everybody. Oh. Oh. I'm not much of a drinker, so this is gonna be real fun. So, excuse me. In the beginning, there was nothing. There was no air, there was no water, you couldn't even breathe. There was just a big void of nothing. And this void was chaos, the very first primordial god. And out of chaos came Nyx. He gave birth to Nyx. And Nyx was the goddess of night. And one thing you'll learn about the Greek gods super duper quick, they'll have a kid with anybody. They don't give a shit if that's their mom, their dad, their uncle, their cousin, nada. Not one single shit given. If they think you're cute, they're having a baby with you. So even though Nyx is like Chaos's daughter, they have a baby. And that baby is the god Erebus. He's the god of darkness. And Nyx is like, you know what? Darkness and night go real good together. We should have some kids. And so, they do. As any mother-child relationship should do. Perfectly natural. Nyx and Erebus have some babies. They have Aethra and Hemera. Aethra is the god of the bright sky, and Hemera is the god of the day. And then, without Nyx and without Erebus, Chaos also had some more kids of his own. He had Gaia, who is the earth, Tartarus, which is like a part of the underworld. You could think of it like hell, kind of. Pontus, who is the sea, and Uranus, who is the sky. Gaia and Uranus, they kind of like got along, You look at the horizon, you see the earth, you see the sky, it makes sense. So Gaia and Uranus had a bunch of kids. They had like 12 kids. 6 boys, 6 girls. Bunch of kids. And those kids were the Titans. They were Kreos, the Titan of the Inquisitive Mind. Kreos, the Titan of Constellation. Hyperion, the Titan of Heavenly Light. Apirios, the Titan of Mortality. Oceanus, the Titan of the Sea. Titan of the Rivers. My bad. Kronos, the Titan of Time. Minas Messine. I did not say that right, but we're gonna ignore it. The Titaness of Memory and Remembrance. Phoebe, the Titaness of the Prophetic Mind. Rhea, the Titaness of Fertility, Motherhood, and like generations, how the family continued. They also had Tethys, the Titaness of Freshwater. Themis, the Titaness of Justice, Order, and Good Counsel, so like a good lawyer. And Thea, the Titaness of Sight and Brilliance. Podcasters make this look so easy. Gaia and Uranus didn't just have those 12 titans and then call it quits. They also had the Hecantocheirus. They had 3 of them, Briareus, Cotius, and Gaius. They also had 3 Cyclopes. And yes, that is the plural of Cyclops. They had Argus, Brontius, and Steropius. But Uranus thought these guys, the Hecahenteres and Cyclopes, were ugly. Hecahenteres, they had 50 heads and 100 arms on, like, each person. That's a lot of heads and arms on one body. And the Cyclopes, they only had the one eye. Uranus was like, I don't like those. And he hid them away in Tartarus. But that kind of pissed Gaia off, Moms don't like it when the dads kind of, like, hide their kids away. That pisses them off. Gaia started thinking of a plan in her head, right? She was pissed that Uranus was hiding her kids. She didn't like that. She wanted all of her kids free and to be able to do things. So she went to her kids and she's like, yo, you guys need to overthrow your dad. He's kind of a tyrant. We don't like that. Your brothers should all be free. But, like, all the Titans, they were kind of like, Uranus is kind of, like, big and powerful. I don't know if I want to fuck with that. But Kronos, he wasn't as scared. He was like, no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm the youngest. What do I got to lose? So Guy was like, cool, you're my kid. So inside of her, she makes this flint sickle, and she gives it to Kronos, and she's like, you can use this to get rid of your dad. And Kronos is like, bet. Excuse me. So Kronos plans an ambush. He has his brothers hide in, like, all the corners, and he hides, like, in the middle. How Uranus didn't see this, I don't know. He's the sky. You'd think he'd see everything, but They're not omnipotent. Drink break. So during this ambush, when Uranus tried to go to Gaia to have relations, Kronos was like, time to go. He had his brothers hold Uranus down, and then he cut Uranus up into a bunch of little bits. So Kronos cut Uranus up while his brothers were holding him down with the sickle out of flint that Gaia had made for him. The blood from his nether regions, you know, fell into the sea, and that made Aphrodite. But we'll get back to that later. She's not relevant to the rest of the story. We'll come back to her in another story. The blood just from all of Uranus being cut up made other creatures that are common in Greek myths, like the Furies, the Giants, and the Nymphs. But even though the whole reason why he overthrew his father was because Gaia wanted all of her kids to not be locked up in Tartarus, he's like, nah, you know what, my dad was kind of right, they are kind of weird, I'm not gonna let them out. And Gaia's like, well, shit, I can't overthrow my son, he's my son. And she didn't do anything about that, which is kind of sus, Gaia. You gotta be a better mom than that, you know? If you're gonna get your husband killed to save your kids, you should save your kids. But she was like, I did what I could, I guess. So after Uranus was overthrown, Kronos became king of the Titans. And he was like, yeah, this is great. And they all married and had kids. Kronos got with Rhea, Krios got with Phoebe, Kratos got with one of the other Titans' kids, one of his nieces. Again, they'll have babies with anybody or anything, really. Hyperion got with Thea, Apedius got with Asia, who, again, another niece. Oceanus got with Tethys. That makes sense, right? The Titan of rivers and the Titaness of fresh waters. That makes sense, you know? They're like, match made in heaven. And all the Titans then start having their little babies. Oceanus and Tethys, they got busy. They had like 1 billion kids. Not quite 1 billion, but like pretty close. They had the Oceanids and the river gods and like some nymphs and stuff. Like a bunch of kids. There's like over 100. Well over 100. Just Oceanids. Bunch of kids. Creos and Eurybia had... Creos and Eurybia had... Oh my god. Creos and Eurybia had Astraeus, Paris, not Perseus, different being, and Pallas. There's some gods. We'll talk about what they are the gods of later. Another date. Just need to know their gods. Koios and Phoebe had Leto and Koios and Phoebe had Leto and Asteria. Hyperion and Theta had Helios, Selena, and Eros. They are the god of the sun, the moon, and the dawn. Iapetos and Asia had Atlas, Prometheus, Menoetius, Epithemus, Anchiale, and Perphagus. And then Kronos and Rhea, they had, and in this order, I know the order of this like the back of my hand, they had Hestia, Hades, Demeter, Poseidon, Hera, and Zeus. They had 6 kids. But Kronos got a prophecy that was like, yo, one of your kids is gonna overthrow you. And Kronos was like, I didn't kill my dad just to get overthrown as like the king of the gods, king of the titans. Not doing it. Not gonna risk it. So he did what anybody doing, like, trying to avoid a prophecy would do. And he just ate his kids. As soon as Rhea had him, he was like, give me that. And, like, swallowed him whole. Swallowed the baby whole. And just like how Gaia didn't like Uranus hiding away some of her kids, Rhea didn't really like the fact that Kronos was eating her babies. She was like, kinda hate that, you know. I'm kinda like a titan of motherhood and shit. Hate that I'm not getting to be a mom. So when she was pregnant with her last kid, Zeus, she was like, I'm not gonna let him eat this baby. So she runs away and hides, and she goes to the island of Crete, and she has her baby in secret. And she asks these warriors on Crete called the Curetes to protect Zeus and raise him and make him strong and like all that stuff. And then when she goes back, she's like, hey, Kronos, I had the baby. You want to meet your new son? And she has this little rock all swaddled up like a baby. And Kronos is like, give me that. And he eats it. And Rhea's like, man, what else did I expect? How he didn't know that was like a fucking rock is beyond me, man. You'd think you'd notice a difference between a rock and a newborn baby, but... whatever, am I right? We're not always thinking rationally when we got a new baby. Sometimes you just swallow rocks thinking they're your kids. And so, since... mouth is dry again. I'm drunk. So, since Kronos thought, like, you know, I ate all my kids, we're good. We're not having any more babies, me and Rhea. They didn't have any more babies. He was like, I'm good, we're good. And Rhea's like, yeah, we're good, we're totally good, man. No more babies. We agree on this. Oh, my feet are numb. So, Zeus grew up on Crete, protected by the Curetes. And since the Curetes were warriors, they were like, just because they were warriors didn't mean they were like idiots, you know? They were like, if Kronos hears this baby, he's gonna be like, yo, what's up? What is that? And they weren't just warriors, they were pretty smart. They're like, we gotta cover up the sound of this baby crying. So whenever Zeus, being a tiny little baby, would cry because, you know, he needs something, they'd like bash their weapons together and like make a bunch of noise to like cover the sound so Kronos couldn't hear it. And they raised him to be like a big, strong, tough guy, ready to fight, ready to kick some ass, ready to take names. And like, you know, they did a pretty good job of that. Every depiction you see of Zeus, he's like big, muscular, muscles on muscles on muscles on muscles. With like beard. That's Zeus for you. Muscles and beard. So when he was all grown up and like ready to take on his dad, he went back to where the Titans were living. And he disguised himself as a servant. And he was like, hey, yo, what's up? Yo, man. Hey, yo, man, what's up? I am here to help y'all out. And Kronos was like, cool, we always need more servants, you know? All my brothers and sisters have a bunch of babies. So after the Curetes raised Zeus into being a big, strong, tough, badass, he went to free his siblings and take the throne from his dad. Just like that prophecy foretold. Woo! Oh, Zeus. I ain't gonna be saying that a lot as this goes on. Zeus ain't always that good a guy. Once Zeus made it to where the Titans were living and staying and doing their, like, heavenly being thing, he disguised himself as a servant. He's like, yo, hey, what's up? I am here to serve you guys. What all do you need? And Kronos was like, awesome! We could always use more servants, you know? My brothers and sisters got all these kids. Rhea's always asking for things. I always need shit. Thanks for helping out, my guy. And Zeus was like, yo, you know what? No problem. Not a problem, man. Here to help. Happy to help. Whatever you need, just ask. And Kronos was like, you know what? I'm kind of thirsty, man. And Zeus was like, yo, I can fix that for you, my guy. So he goes and he makes Kronos a drink. But this isn't just any old drink. No. He poisons it. Blech. You can't kill Kronos with poison because, like, you know, even though we call them Titans, they're still immortal. They're still godlike. So he poisons it in a way to make Kronos throw up. And when Kronos does this, he throws up all of Zeus's siblings. And they are fully grown and ready to kick ass and take names. They've been living in Kronos' stomach for gods know how long. And Zeus is like, you fell for it, my guy. I'm your son. You didn't need a rock. You silly. Nope. I'm your son. You didn't eat me. Fuck you, you silly. I have to go pee. So, After Zeus, like, revealed himself and was like, haha, you fucking silly, I'm your kid. You didn't eat a rock. Nope. Haha, you silly. I'm your kid. You didn't eat me, you ate a rock. Mom confused you. She gotcha. This kind of, you know, pissed Kronos off. The whole reason he ate his kids was to, like, avoid his kids overthrowing him, and then here's a kid he didn't eat, ready to overthrow him. Also, like, you know, fucking side note, his siblings, Zeus's siblings came out, like, fully grown and, like, ready to kick ass and take names. Kronos had to be, like, fucking huge. Like, you remember John and Kate plus 8, like, when she had her, like, sextuplets, how big her tummy was? Like, 10 times that. Like, this man probably couldn't move. He was probably just sitting there like, servants, bring me food. But, you know, it happens, you know, when you can't die, really. Nothing's stopping you from getting a gigantic tummy full of adult children. I finished my White Claw, and we're on to the vodka squirt. My fiance was right. This is fucking delicious. 10 out of 10 would recommend to you guys, as long as you are of legal drinking age. That's hard to say. So Zeus freeing his kids and revealing himself started this war called the Titanomachy, which was this great war between the gods and the Titans. Like, all of the kids of the Titans took part in it. The Titans took part in it. And this war lasted, like, 10 years. 10 years is, like, an important number to the Greeks. A lot of wars last 10 years in, like, mythology and legends from ancient Greece and stuff. I'll look into that, guys, for you. Look into that for you guys, too, and, like, figure out why, maybe. So, during the Titanomachy, the Titans and the gods were fighting to figure out who would rule. But Kronos and Rhea's kids, those 6, they were like, we won't be able to take on all of the Titans with just us and, like, our cousins. We need some help. So Gaia was like, hey, yo, my grandbabies, I got a little secret for you. You got some uncles, and they're locked in Tartarus. If you go free them, I bet they'd help you. Because they were pissed at their grandpa, and they were pissed at their brother for not fucking freeing them when they overthrew your grandpa. And Zeus is like, oh, that is a brilliant idea. Thanks, Gaia. That is a good help. So, Zeus and Poseidon and Hades went to go free the Titan and... Nope. Zeus and Poseidon and Hades went to go free the Hecatoncheires and the Cyclopes. And the Cyclopes had been spending, like, all their time in Tartarus becoming, like, awesome metal workers. They're like the first metal workers in, like, all the world. And they were so thankful that they're like, hey, yo, you 3. Not only are we gonna help you fight, we are gonna give you some awesome prizes for freeing us. They gave Zeus his lightning bolts. They gave Poseidon his trident. And they gave Hades this super awesome helmet that made him invisible. The Helm of Invisibility. Super awesome. Super cool. Wonderful prizes. We love it. We love when our uncles give us stuff. We love it when our uncles will give us stuff to overthrow our tyrannical fathers and uncles even more. So, the gods and the Titans and the Hecatoncheires and the Cyclopes fought fiercely. They fought, like I said, for like 10 years. Super fierce, super tough battle. Sometimes it looked like one side would win, sometimes it looked like the other side would win. It was real tough, real close. But eventually, the gods proved victorious, and so they'd get to rule the world. They'd get to be the head honchos. And the cycle continues. They chopped Kronos up into a bunch of tiny pieces, and they locked all their uncles, dads, because the other gods, the other kids of the Titans, fought in the Titanomachy. Also, they locked all those Titans in Tartarus, so they couldn't try to reclaim the throne. I look pretty. So the gods are all like, oh yeah, awesome, we won! What's next? And since Kronos was the king of the Titans, they all figured, you know, even though Kronos wasn't the oldest, he was the youngest Titan. They all figured that, like, Kronos and Rhea's kids would be the king of the gods. Like, one of those 6 would be the king of the gods. And even though Hades was the oldest, Zeus was like, no, you know, I kind of, like, arranged the whole thing. I freed all of you. And Hestia, being the peacemaker that this woman has always been, was like, no, you know what? No, we're not gonna fight about it. We're not gonna fight about it. No, that's not what we're gonna do, guys. She's like, why don't you guys draw straws? Figure out, like, who's gonna be the king of what? And they were like, okay, yeah. That sounds fair. So they all drew straws to, like, figure out who would rule what. Zeus drew the biggest straw, so he got to be the king of the sky and the king of the gods. Poseidon drew the middle straw, so he got to be king of the sea. And Hades, you know, kind of sucks for him, even though he's the oldest. Like, you know, in most Western cultures, he'd be the like, king of the gods, because, like, they do, I forgot what it's called, but, like, oldest son gets the crown. He drew the short straw, though, so he gets to be the king of the underworld. And with that, though, since the underworld is, you know, under the world, he also gets, like, all the riches that are under the earth. Like, all those diamonds, all the gold, all the emeralds, all that cool, like, super awesome rich people stuff belongs to him. Silver, platinum, all that. It's his. So, like, that's the plus side for it, I guess. The disadvantage, though, is that since Hades, the king of the underworld, he kind of has to, you know, be in the underworld to, like, rule it. So he doesn't get to move in with his siblings when they're figuring out, like, where they're gonna have their, like, headquarters. Hades moves to the underworld, and the rest of the 4 moved to Mount Olympus. They figured, you know, this is the tallest place in Greece. This is a really good place to, like, live, because we'll be able to see over all of Greece, and we'll be able to see, like, what's going on and stuff. So that's where the other 5 moved to. And that, my friends, is where we're going to stop today. You gotta hydrate while you dihydrate. And how about next time? We'll start with, like, setting up Mount Olympus and stuff. And, like, oh, stop it. No, Kiki. That was my cat, Kiki. She's very old and we love her. Would you like to see her? Say hi, Kiki. She's old, baby. I love her, though. She's a good baby. So, next time, we will... You poured it like I'm a frat boy. So, next time, we'll start with the gods moving to Mount Olympus and setting all that up for the next generation of gods. I will see y'all then, and don't forget to hydrate before you hydrate. Don't forget to hydrate before you dihydrate, and I will see y'all then. Bye-bye.